The agenda of today of my session is all about how we unlock business potential through actually working and empowering employees. Clearly, the impact of COVID is not just now, but has been transformational for our lives, for a lot of people's lives, but in our businesses, how we operate. That's kind of raising the bar, changing the way that we work between ourselves, with employees of the companies, and actually how the company is going to work with their customers as well. I will be kind of describing a little bit about the experience, how we need the experience with employees need to be changed to make sure that we retain them, we grow them, and more importantly as well is what I think we're doing in Soldo, how we can, we're the leading pay and spend management platform that actually support and help businesses to grow. So I will use a few kind of case studies. But jumping into the topic of COVID, I mean, clearly now it is quite clear that we have a new normal. We don't never know what will be normal will be. I mean, we're always constantly changing, but clearly the way that kind of we work is completely different now than before. I mean, 21% of Europeans now work from home, and clearly, we have even the UK kind of more than 50%. So that has a lot of kind of good benefits of working from home. So you can clearly see from, sometimes kind of better kind of work-life balance, better productivity. However, some challenges, and I think that everybody in the audience as well is just again that team culture is a challenge. Relationships, sometimes the discussions are much more transactional when you work in Teams or in Zooms, and sometimes the communication and collaboration is much more kind of challenging because we are not have face-to-face, and we cannot kind of build in different ways. So, I mean, from that perspective, the new normal, it will be all about flexible working, will be all about finding ways to have the right balance, what's the right hybrid. I guess that any kind of finance team, any kind of CEO, any company is really trying to find a way, what's the right balance, what that means for them. And the most important thing is ultimately what is key is to ensure that kind of we kind of empower our employees to thrive and to develop, and more importantly as well, that business to continue to grow despite of the challenges. I think that previous speaker was talking about digital transformation, moving things to cloud, the whole change of working that is impacting new services, new solutions, and as a business we need to adapt. And that's why it is really important to drive that transformation. But that transformation always brings challenges as well. I mean, the challenge is clearly that the race of the experience with employees has changed, right? So recruitment, you can clearly see in a lot of people reevaluating their lives, they're changing, they have more options. They're assuming clearly that their next job will be with remote, flexible working. The next job we have these kind of benefits. They're expecting companies to actually clearly invest in them, in their development, investing in their flexibility. I mean, the numbers are quite kind of staggering, and it is quite clear that every company has been impacted, not just because of the challenges of the business to drive more their volume into digital channels as well, because their employees as well are changing and they wanted to work in a different way. So what that means, practically, is that we need to find a way to build kind of hybrid working models to drive a much better ways of working and manage the budgets. And there's kind of much more distance between them. There's much more remote offices across different parts of Europe and the world. We need to make sure that finance teams actually really control and drive visibility and empower multiple currencies. They have different permissions, different authorizations in different type of spend. So in a sense, more complexity drive much more fragmentation. Having much more fragmentation as well drive the need of having a spend management platform to support them and to make sure they control how they do business with them. And business teams, business departments always are like kind of being challenged by having just one source of truth. I mean, how to make sure they have just one panel that understand, and how how their different teams, how different employees are spending their money, and how to make sure that not just controlling them, but the more importantly as well, how to empower them, how to make sure that the budget to drive more digital advertising is there, how to make sure that if somebody is traveling or somebody is a new employee in a different area, they have enough money in their cards to make sure that they can buy equipment for the home, or actually they can buy a specific materials to a client that they are supporting. So there are different needs with more fragmentation or more digitalization, and all of these drive complexity, and hence the need of having a clear spend management platform. And the experience of employees, as I mentioned before, is a paramount. It's a paramount of the new area of COVID, because we need to make sure that we can bring people together. There are abilities to bring not just remote meetings, but in person, celebrate success, find new ways to connect. Empowering, training them, with bringing the right tools, supporting them with training, supporting them with much more opportunities, give them the opportunity to travel as well if they have, given the opportunity to derive much more flexibility. All of these components of experience, the underlying is that there's much more products, much more needs for SaaS products, much more online training, much more need to travel. All of these as well is elevating the complexity of finance teams to authorize and support teams locally and internationally as well. So what are we doing with what as a business? We basically gonna wake up in the morning saying how we can actually support and help to empower businesses to grow through managing their spend. And the way that we are thinking about spend, we're not actually talking about expenses. For us, just expenses, for example, the travel or business expenses, it's just one of the components of how we see the total company funds, right? So you can clearly see in the chart from the right is like we have travel expenses, but we have as well, there's a lot of needs for office expenses or your home expenses. Business grow, investing much more on online purchases, from kind of the things you buy in Amazon, some SaaS subscriptions, to online advertising to fuel the growth of your business, through events, virtual events or physical events, to payroll, to out-of-pocket acquisition. So you can clearly, we are seeing kind of spend management as a proper definition of spend. It's any type of cost the company has. And it's not just on cards or debit or credit or prepay, it's in any type of payments, ACH to any type of links to the open banking and simplification of how the funds have been flown. And as well, make sure that things get paid in any place you are, in any currency you are operating with. So that's how we're going to view and vision of our spend management platform. It's not just about your travel expenses, about any type of spend you have in your own business. And let me give you a few specific examples. How we applying this platform to the topic of today, which is how to empower employees, from creating virtual cards to that makes the deployment very simple. So we can create a single use cards to any type of for any type of usage, from online courses to classes to conference tickets to even you buying a new laptop or monitor or something for you. So you don't need to receive a card. You receive a single use card, very secure, any part of the kind of world that you are. In addition to that, obviously, we have our kind of corporate cards with our kind of, a simple mobile app that enable to just to take a picture of the receipt, to kind of link that specific transaction and automatically link it to any type of accounting integration that we have from Sage with Xero to QuickBooks. So any type of local account integration, we are already building a platform. So that kind of magic between you making the decision or any employee making the decision to make a purchase, to link that invoice and that ticket, and then link automatically to the accounting system, it is really important already kind of built. So in a sense, employees, it's a win-win situation because employees literally kind of, it's much more simple for them to spend. They know that they're on policy. They know they have this, that policy has been approved, and then the finance teams has everything reconciliated because it's already integrated to the accounting platform. So this is just one of the examples that kind of we see significant level of usage in the last kind of couple of months. Speed, it is really important. Speed of how we empower employees and departments to spend the money in the right time. So this is very important, particularly now in these times with kind of remote and high growth business, even though if you're a startup or scale up or established business. So a very simple way to empower with budget, with purchases, with anything that you have, to give any team, any employee, any departments to ensure that they have the right amount of money in the right amount of time. And it's important as well for when you have new employees, right? So we have a lot of customers in our platform that actually are hiring people remotely, and they want to make sure that they can kick off and they can really start or kind of building products or spending money on advertising or creating new things. So the speed here is really important to get the right tools to make sure that they can subscribe to the right SaaS products. They can have really effective onboardings, product and services to make sure they can do their job really, really quickly. So when you think about spend management, don't just think about the way to control and to have visibility of the spend. Think about it as an engine of growth. Think about it as an engine of empowering employees to make the right calls, to make sure that the money is in the right hands in the right times. So in addition to that, one of the major benefits of the spend management is the ability for you to kind of save time, to give much quality time for employees and for finance teams to do their own job. So it cuts a lot of admin, from the approvals or multiple approvals to make sure that there is a simplicity in the way that purchases have been requested, to as well the experience of the employees to make sure that they can request and approve things really quickly, to get the money in a virtual card or a plastic card, very, very simple. And then the finance teams is spending less time on Excel and manual processes, and actually spend much more time driving more value added to their own company. So that kind of frustration from employees or from finance teams with using this platform to get all simplify and empower it to a completely different level. So what's the alternative? So I mean, today the biggest challenge and why spend management now is being talked a lot, because to be honest, the biggest kind of competitor is the status quo. It's like manual processes, and actually people don't believe that there's a better way of doing things. So the lack of control, we made a huge level of analysis that is almost kind of 350 billion lost every year because of the lack of control of underspend. The sense of not having visibility and not having the control. I mean, beyond the cost is not having the visibility and control of having the money in the right time and the right places, so you are not missing that kind of growth opportunities in a country, in a channel, on any place you are. Manual processes, that nobody kind of wake up in the morning to spend 10 hours in Excel or kind of counting receipts and checking receipts. That's kind of the whole life. I mean, this should be something completely kind of change kind of moving forward. With these type of systems, you are simplifying, you automate, and you control. We make an analysis with more than 1,000 customers across Europe, and you can save more than kind of 40% of time processing manual things that with this kind of new automated platform like Soldo. And obviously kind of waste times. Time is the only thing you cannot recover in your life. So it's all about how to make sure you take the time to make sure that you use it in the right way to grow your business, to value add it, to drive value to your customers, and grow your business kind of forward. So that's the core of the presentation.